We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. This is actually an awesome, exciting evening for all of us that have been authors of this awesome book. So, ladies, this is your opportunity to go to my Facebook page, Alicia George, and share it out so your friends and your relatives, your family can come on in and sit with us as we discuss this book and this launch. I'm so excited tonight that you've joined me on this journey. Listen, tonight we're going to talk about all it took, what it took from you, what it took from me, how we made this happen. So let's get started tonight. What I want to do is I want us each to have an opportunity to just be free and just tell people who you are and what your subject or title was. Good evening. I am Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and I am the visionary of this book. It's called Sacred Sisters, and this is our book launch, our virtual book launch. We did have our official launch on Saturday, and we have some exciting news to share with you. So I know that these women all worked hard with this book, and we want to just officially tonight, December the 30th, release the paperback cover of this book. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get started at the top right where we are. So would you introduce yourself, Vera, and we'll go in that manner. Just introduce yourself, tell them who you are and the name of your chapter. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. My name is Reverend Vera Wallakin. I am a child protection worker turned life coach. I'm also an ordained minister and a #1 best-selling author. Yay! And the title of my chapter is Discover Your Audacity to Live Free. And I wrote about the woman at the well.
The woman at the well. Awesome. Come on, let's keep this moving. Dr. Lakeisha Matthews, come on.
Hey. Good evening, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. H.C. Lakeisha Matisse. Yes, I am the Reset and Rebound doula. And the chapter that I wrote was about the woman of the best, the single stone, one shot, one woman, one chance. And what she absolutely did under the pressure that she was facing, because guess what? Sometimes I know for sure that you only get one shot. Welcome.
I love it. Let's keep it moving over here to my left. Dr. Leah, come on in.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Apostle Dr. Leah Vanterpool. I rule in different mountains. I am in the mountain of business, the mountain of government, the government of business, and the government of education. By trade, I am a CFO/CPA. I'm in the financial industry. I am an apostle, a prophet to nations. I've been in ministry for 35 years, have been coaching, as well as have my own practice as an accountant. And in my chapter, I wrote about Leah, Deborah, and Jania, all collectively the legacy of leadership.
Awesome. I'm telling you, you women are pulling out all the punches. You all did a fantabulous job. Come on right down the middle to you, Dr. Joe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Josephine Harris. You may call me Dr. Joe. I am the mental health expert. I am an international psychologist as well as a psychotherapist. I am not the only this is not my first best-selling, but my 18th best-selling author. So it has been a journey for me. It has been wonderful. It was, let me tell you, I love what I do. I love what I carry. I am also a coach, a mental health coach, where I help you to navigate mental health challenges as well. So the title of mine is Embracing the Maybelline Within. So when I talk about the Maybelline Within, I talk about how her character has been misinterpreted for years. So I really dig into how she overcame certain characteristics that she portrayed and that people portrayed her.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, we're going to go over here to the lady in red. Come on, Pastor Sandra.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pastor Sandra Hill, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this anthology, Sacred Sisters, along with my sacred sisters who are here tonight. And I would say by trade, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I have multiple businesses, and God gives us multiple gifts and callings, and my aim is to use them all. And so I was so blessed to write on Dorcas and how that she was a woman of influence. And so just as we are able to influence different areas of culture, I was able to highlight that she had influence in the church, she had influence in the family, and she had influence in the community. And the other great thing about her is that God gave her a round two. So thank you.
Amen. Thank you. And I wrote on the daughters of Zelophehad because I really believe that they have changed the legacy of us really understanding how important it is to have an inheritance that can be passed down to our generations and generations. And they unlocked the door and the key for women to recognize and realize that they can go after what belongs to them and receive it. So tonight, I am just so blessed to have each of you women here. And guess what? The next question is, where are you? I am in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands at this time. Dr. Joe, where are you?
I am in Washington State.
Washington State. What about you, Dr. Lakeisha?
I am in Central Valley, California, Fresno in the house. Woo-hoo.
Fresno. Okay,
Yes.
that's a good place to be. Dr. Leah, where are you at this time?
When we
Atlanta.
started out the anthology, I started off in North Lake, Texas, but I am now located in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow, the land of the beaches and fun. How about you, Dr. Pastor Sandra? Where are you at?
I reside in Southern California.
Southern California. Come on, Reverend Vera, where you at?
I greet you from snowy, cold Iowa.
Iowa. Iowa. See, there's just such a diversity of women and areas that we are in right now. And guess what? We are here tonight because we are celebrating that we are the number one new release on Saturday of this book, Best-Selling Authors, number one new release. That is an awesome, awesome achievement. It was not easy, but we did it. And the other thing is, we are bestsellers in not one, not two, but three different categories as well. So I think that that's an awesome achievement for you women. And I am just so excited to have gone on this journey with each and every one of you. And as we reflect on how we got started and what the process was, it simply was, I was really thinking, because I do teach on Women of the Bible 3 Wednesdays out of the month. And I'm fascinated with women of the Bible and who they are. And when I stopped looking at them as just stories in the Bible and really started to see how they impacted everyday life and how women's lives have been patterned after women of the Bible, God gave me this download and he gave me the name of the book. And so I decided this is not a book that I want to just write alone. So how do I bring women into this project with me? And I have written books. I wrote 7 books of my own, and I have 3 other books that I have written with women. None of them have ever gone to #1 or became a bestseller because I simply did not know how to approach it. But this time, as I started to work with you women, I made a decision that it was going to happen. And one of the things that really I'm very proud of, and I'm trying not to get too emotional, was when I wrote my very, very first book over 14 years ago. My mom, it was called 5 Minute Mentor. And my mother read the book. After she did, she says, "You're going to write a whole lot of books." I said, "No, this was just something that I wrote." And she said that to me. So I honored my mom and my dad by starting this publishing company with this book. I combined both their names. Her name was Carmen. His name was Lionel. And I called it Calm Lion Publication. So this is the first publication under my parents' the company that I've created with their name. So it makes me especially proud today as we do this. And you can't do it alone. So all of you women contributed. And when I first started to send out invitation, who would like to do this book? It probably took maybe about a week or two, and Dr. Joe was the very first person that says, "I'll do it." And once she said it, it started happening. By the way, there are 3 other of our co-authors that are not here with us tonight because it's 9 of us that wrote this book. That's why I say 9 is the number of birthing one vision. This was one vision, but it took 9 women to birth this vision. And so I know that as I started to accept you all coming in to the process, we did go through some initial coaching so that you all understood the plan and the process, because people just think you just give people a book and tell them go ahead and write. No, you have to actually be involved. You have to give instructions. You have to help people frame their minds. I have 2 publishers sitting here with me right now today, and they understand the process of, and so that even made me more grateful that they said yes to this project. So let's go here. Dr. Lakeisha, what actually made you say yes to this project?
You know, I said yes to this project because I've been in many book compilations with you, and you always do what God is calling you to do, and you always have the greatest topics ever. That is the reason I joined this one. And this one, we talk about sacred sisters. This was like, I was like, yes, I got to be in this one too. This is something where our voices need to come together, that we need to come together as women, right? As you do the Women of the Bible, as you have the school. And we need to come together as women and talk about from our perspective, how we see ourselves and some of these women that we have brought to the forefront in the book Sacred Sisters. So I commend you. I thank you very much for allowing me to even be in the book compilation. And that was my reason, my big reason for choosing to be in this one particular one.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me ask one other person that same question. How about you, Reverend Vera?
Well, I was motivated by you, Apostle. You handle yourself with such class and grace. And so I knew it would be an awesome experience. And you had said we would be #1. And I appreciate being #1. You had prophesied on that. So that just knowing you and being connected to you was a motivating factor. Secondary to that, I am in the process of writing my own book. And I've never written before. And so I wanted to have the experience with an expert. And I do consider you to be an expert. I wanted to have that experience with an expert so that I could kind of see, okay, what is this going to look like when I do it on my own? And I would tell you, this has been such a wonderful learning, growing opportunity. And I thank you again for allowing me to be a part of your vision.
Thank you so much, Reverend Vera. Really appreciate you so very much. Pastor Sandra, chime in. How about you?
Thank you. Well, I will say I trust the God in you. And I was very excited. We had reconnected. We haven't seen each other in person for a few years. And I just remember wanting to see you and wanting to have time with you. And that's where you had shared the vision. And I already, for some reason, I'm sure the Holy Spirit, but I knew that I wanted to write on Dorcas. So the whole timing and us coming together, it was wonderful. So yes, it was just a yes for me. I didn't have to question. You're asking meant a yes for me.
Good, 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 good. Listen, when you start on a journey like this, and you know certain things, but you don't know everything, it is a learning experience, because I truly have learned a whole lot differently in any of the other books processes that I have done. This one was completely a different process for me as well. But I was determined to allow God lead me and guide me every step of the way as I did it. And as I said, there was a couple of times I was like, "Oh my God, have I bitten off more than I could chew?" But he just told me, do that. Even to the Saturday night, when I was really wondering, okay, God, because when you were looking to make this happen and it's going backwards instead of forward, you're like, okay, God, I just settled myself and I say, it's in your hand. I no longer am trying to control the outcome. I'm giving it all to you. Dr. Joe, how about you?
Wow. Wow. When you first presented the project, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on this project with Apostle, because I know that I follow the God in you, and I know that this project will be something special for you to do. So I said, like, I'm gonna join. It was different. It was different, but I love how you connect with each one of us and how you presented the project to us. So that really brought me to say yes, and I didn't even second guess myself.
Wow, thank you so, so much. And I just learned about you tonight. I had no idea that you have already done 17, 18. I know that you've been in quite a few projects, but I didn't realize how many of them were bestsellers. You are aspire to be like you. Let me
And
just say that.
every book that I've been in actually was the bestseller. Every single one of them.
Amen. I aspire to be like you. Dr. Leah, what about you?
I would say that at first, when you presented it, I can't say that I had the same story as the other women because I had quite a bit going on. I have my own publishing company, which is It Is Written Publishing, and I have several books. And as well as I am a best-selling author even prior to this. So I wanted to be a part of what you were doing. But at the time, I had so much going on, and I have a book that's actually in the writing stage right now. And so at that particular time, I was in the movement of moving from Dallas to St. Thomas to
Yes.
accept the VP of Finance CFO job here in the Virgin Islands. And so I had quite a bit going on with packing up a full house. I had an international trip that was coming up. And I said, Lord, and when you called and you said, I need you as a
I
part
was
of this
forcing
book,
you, yes.
you was
But
driving. I was like, I ain't trying
relentless.
to have it. I ain't trying
Relentless.
to.
You writing this book. Yes.
And literally, I was on my way to Barcelona, Spain, and literally 2 days before I left, I sat down and wrote my chapter and edited it the next day, pretty much pulled the all-nighter so I can write it and submit it, which is how I became a part of it. But I did, Apostle, you're my BFF, so
That's my
I'm a ride or
BFF.
die and what you're doing.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, I'm not trying to have it because I got stuff to do.
Right.
But that's what best friends do. Dr. Lear is my best friend. And I'm telling you, I did enough to almost threaten her. You writing this book. And so
But
you
I know what it takes to not only
to do
from,
it.
I've also had several, I've been a part of several anthologies, as well as I've been a host of several anthologies as
Mhm.
well. And I understand the complexities that come, especially when you have a mixed amount of people that are writing. You will have experienced writers, you'll have beginner writers. And so regardless to who's in the project, there's always the ups and downs, the delays in the schedule and all of
Yes.
that. And because of what I know it comes with, I was still saying, no, I'm good. But I'm
But
glad to have been a part of the project.
thank you, thank you, thank you. But that's what best friends do. They sacrifice for you, and she certainly did for me. And the both of us are laughing at each other because she's moved to
Yes.
St. Thomas, and now I'm moving away from St. Thomas. And so it's been like really a trip for us. But we are best friends, and I love the support that she gives me in every area of my life. But listen, ladies, that brings me to this point that we all together made this happen. It wasn't just one of us. We all made this happen. You all did your part. You all wrote the book. That was the most important thing. I had a challenge with my editor. I've been using her for the last 4 years, but this time she was not understanding. I didn't want her to rewrite what people were saying. And that was one of the things Dr. Leah said, tell her, do not rewrite my book. But, and I told her basically that for everyone. I said, this is authentic. This is what they want to say. All I need you to do is make changes that need to be made. Don't rewrite anything. And we did that. And I think we have an excellent project. And so to be number one in new release, when we were at number 10, I was sweating. I said, okay, what do I need to do to who else can I send out to let them know that we've released this book? And I just sat down and I said, God, it was 12 o'clock. And he said, I heard him so clear. I heard the Spirit of God so clear say, be still. Late in the midnight hour, I turn things around. And I got real quiet and I got real still. And I followed his instructions and I followed his directions. And then around, I must have drifted off about 20 minutes. And when I got back up, I thought we were number one in two categories. I said, God, you can't bring me this close and don't, you know. So then I got back on and I called some other people. I know my friends was tired of me bugging them that night. They were tired of me emailing. My family was sick of me. I don't care. But whoever I think of, I was letting them know we launching this book. I need your support. I need your help. And by 2 o'clock, when I saw it said in three categories, I was excited. And about 5 minutes after that, it said number one. Woo! In new release, I knew that God had done it. And I will not take his glory in any way. And so I'm so grateful for that. So, ladies, let's go to this part. I want each of you to just share with us once again the title and who you write, and just give us, don't tell us your whole story or your whole book. Just give us a little synopsis, a glimpse into what you wrote. Who want to go first? I am going to pull on president of the most awesome network that I am a part of, the Herpreneur Network, because Dr. Nikki Ziegler, listen, when she realized that our book was out, because I didn't really say to the network, oh, the book is coming out. I really didn't go that route. And when she realized that, she got in that network chat and she told everybody, you all have to support this book because people from the network is involved. Let's go. And when she said that, those women started responding. They started responding. They started just becoming involved. And then the momentum started to go for me again. And I said, thank you. But I also want to say this. I have a team that I have worked with for 4 years that I told you all about, and they're in two different countries. And I was inboxing them, telling them certain things that needed to be done differently with because there was a little glitch with one author's name, and that wasn't going with her. I couldn't publish the book without her. So he was in the middle of trying to pull down one, put up the other, and make sure that it didn't. I had people working with me, and I'm so grateful for that. So, Dr. Joe, would you let us know about Mary Magdalene? That's who you wrote about, and a little bit of your story.
Well, you put it like that. So my story is the title of my book is Embracing the Maybelline Within. So what I did, I wrote about it is basically about how she struggled and been misinterpreted by for a century, and that the Bible had she devoted to follow Jesus, but the presence of his moment, she was like crucified. She was like she was a people placed her in a place where her characters was ridiculed, and she was based on called a sinful woman of seeking forgiveness. So I compared that of what my character was and how I was defeated and how I overcame certain characteristic of looking how Mary Maybelline have learned and how she realized that she does not allow labels to define who she were, to define who she is. So sometimes the world let us sometimes the world misinterpret misconception of dictating how they portray us to be and our self-worth. So my story is geared towards how she came and rise above all the labels that was placed up on her,
Yes.
and it didn't define who she were. It helped her to realize and to recognize the strength and the resilience that she had in herself. And so my story is based on my strength and the resilience I had in myself because of different labels people label you with when you're going through a lot of grief and a lot of a lot of sacrifice that you've been through. So that's my story with Maybelline.
Yes, Mary Magdalene is a very interesting character. And again, this book, Sacred Sisters, is now out on Amazon.com. It's available right now. You can purchase it at $21.99, and it's $4.50 for shipping from Amazon. So you can go out and you can get it. I was trying to see if my assistant was on here, but if you would like to go in the private chat, um, any of you, and drop your information in there so that she could grab it if she comes in. I hope she has not forgotten about or got the time mixed up with this live. But we want people to know that you can buy the book right now on Amazon.com for $21.99 in paper book form. And it should be mailed out to you within 5 to 7 days from Amazon. So you can support each of the authors in that way as well. Let's go to you, Pastor Sandra.
So I was privileged to write about Dorcas, and I found her to be a CEO. I believe she had a clothing line. I believe she was the purchaser of the finest materials. I believe that she employed other women in what she did. And I'm in the process of building sandrahillceo.com. And so I just really saw myself in her. And what I love about her is that I believe she was multicultural, which is important for us to be able to go in and out among any people, culturally, ethnically, and all of those things. I believe that she stood for social justice. the word of God talks about how she supported the widows. And I thought about the story in the Bible that talks about how there was an uprising because the widows weren't treated properly. So I believe she stood in that place. And for us today, many of us, we have nonprofits that stand in that place. And so I just believe that she was just a strong influencer, no matter who God sent her to, within the church, outside in the community, and in the marketplace. And the one thing that really fascinated me about her life is that she literally died. Like
Mm.
she was like, bye bye, I'm out. And I thought about a little bit about the COVID season and how many of us had either experienced death or, things dying. But God gave her, I just call it Act Two, a whole second time to come back. She was resurrected by Peter.
Yeah.
And so, how much, even much more powerful, like in Act One, she was powerful and she did a lot of things, but how the Lord brought her back to do an even greater work. So that
Awesome.
really just the CFO in her, the CEO in her is really what drew me to her. And so,
Awesome. Awesome.
yes.
So listen, you all know what to look forward to in these chapters of this book written by these awesome, incredible women that are here with us tonight. And those of you that may catch this by replay, just know that these women are phenomenal. And if you want to get in touch with any of them, just inbox me if you miss their names or their numbers, and I will be happy to share it with you. Let's go to you, Rev.
Okay. So, how many of us have a testimony that when God meets us where we are, he does not leave us there? I wrote about the woman at the well, and the title is Discover Your Audacity to Live Free. Now, I believe that her story is one of a powerful transformation of her mind. This conversation, this encounter she had with God, her situation did not change. What changed was her mind about who God had created her to be. See, I'm a mindset coach. And as a mindset coach and as a speaker, I empower women to understand that when you change your mind, you change your life. Our mindset matters. And the word reminds us that transformation begins with what? The renewing of our mind. And so through this encounter, she was reminded that she was not identified by her past. She was reminded that her past did not identify her. See, sometimes the enemy holds us hostage in our minds because of our past. But God showed her that who he had created her to be, and that there was worth in who he had created her to be, in the God who was within her. And so that story really resonates with me because for so many years I was held hostage because of past mistakes that I had made. But once I overcame those limited beliefs and I truly discovered my authentic identity, I could walk in purpose. And it's a journey. So we have to understand it's not a one and done, but it's a journey. So again,
Yes.
my title is Discover Your Audacity to Live Free. And I encourage you today to step into your calling, step into your purpose, and discover your audacity to live free.
Thank you so much, mindset coach. Appreciate that. Dr. Leah, let's hear from you.
Hi again, everyone. My chapter was on the legacy of Leah, Junia, and Deborah, and the subject itself was voices of strength. And so these are three women. We have the matriarch of Leah, we have Junia, who is the first female apostle that is mentioned within scriptures, and then we know about Deborah, who was a prophet, as well as the judge for Israel. And one of the things that I loved about these three women is that they form a tapestry within my life. Leah, my namesake, One of the things with her story, we talk a lot about her being the second fiddle, but what it really was is she wasn't the chosen of Jacob. And how many of us have been through times in our life where we were not the chosen, where we weren't the ones that people actually wanted instead. So we weren't the Rachels, we were the Leahs in it. But Leah was a leader within herself and actually birthed out the nations of Israel that came through her lineage. So in spite of it, we might not, I put it this way, we might not be everybody's cup of tea, but we sure enough is what God orders when he needs certain things done because of what he has put on the inside of us. Junia, who is mentioned as a first apostle that's mentioned, Paul, who is very much noted as the apostle in the scriptures and accepted. Many people over the years have tried to change her identity and made her a man so that they can go beyond the fact that she was actually a female apostle. And Paul made, he made it an effort to mention that he met them in the faith. And so we as that are in ministry or even in the marketplace that are leading, we are making we're making our step and we're making our mark in the areas that we are leading in. But people will try to change our identity or try to make small of what we bring to the table. And I like to say it like this. We oftentimes might not get an invitation to tables, but there's always a spiritual Lowe's or Walmart where we can actually make our own table and our chairs and invite others to that table. And so I like Deborah because she's a prophet to the nations and as well. And as a prophet to the nations, she was also a judge. She helped to rule well and to bring the prophetic to a people. And so these three women resonate within my life. I am an ordained apostle. I am an ordained prophet, as well as I have been, ordained as far as the Lord making me one of the first in my family to be in leadership and to lead. And so dealing with, in my history of dealing with feelings of being rejected by people whom I wanted to be at the table until I learned that I had my own spiritual, nails and hammers to build my own tables. And so we find our strength in our voice. And so over the years, the Lord has allowed me to form a voice and be able to have a voice, not only in the ministry, but also in the marketplace. And I can say that I am a global gift because I have traveled all over the world, not only for the gospel's sake, but also from an entrepreneur as well as from a business standpoint. And so these women voices have made marks in the tapestry of the Bible in various different areas, and they are not easily forgotten. Their names are remembered because of the mark that they left. And so I recognize that whom God has called me to be, there's also a mark that's being placed everywhere that he sends me to serve. And so these women have been an example to me of voices of faith.
Amen. Thank you so much, Apostle Leah. Let's go over to you, Dr. Lakeisha.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a saying that I would like to piggyback of all the women said. And one thing in particular, why try to sit at anybody's table when you could just build your own? I agree with that 100%. We're gifted in different areas. I'm also ordained as well. But I come here this evening to just talk about the woman of the best and how she was also ordained. Come on now. This woman that was ordained for such a time that she was walking in the land she was walking in to do what she needed to do. My title was called Single Shot, one woman, one chance, the woman of the best. Have you ever faced a dire and dangerous situations or circumstances that you didn't know what you needed to do, but then you had an epiphany or you had a choice that you had to make a decision right within that time? Because She was going through a storm. Her people were being slaughtered. They usually run into strong towers, right? Where they're all bundled together. But this dude is around, Abimelech is around killing people. He's slaughtering because he has a wicked and evilness about himself. That sounds a little bit about like this world today, right? So she played a pivotal role in stopping the slaughter of her people. A woman did this. Have you ever heard the poem by Sojourner Truth when it says, "Ain't I a woman?" Well, yes, honey. Yes, she was a woman. And through him trying to siege and take captive and take hostages and slaughter their people, she just decided, you know what? I'm not doing this. She know that she had one shot because she was a woman. And in that time period, you know how it was for women if we look at the social roles and things of that nature. But honey, let me tell you, with that one shot, this nameless woman took a decisive action. She took this heavy tool. And guess what? You want to hear more? Buy the book. That's what I'm right now. And she beat the odds. She had a courageous action plan. She had a decisive action about herself that she had to choose to do. She also had strategic brilliance. And I believe that she was inspired by God to do exactly what she did. She ended it. She delivered what she needed to deliver for her people. And she brought peace to her land. And for that, I am forever thankful. And I ask you once again, as you're going into 2025, what is that one shot that you have that you know you might be fearful of doing it, but you need to step out anyway and hear the voice of the Lord and do it anyway, even when you're scared.
You ladies are just awesome and just powerful. And I'm just so grateful. Again, I wrote on the daughters of Zelophehad so that we understand that if we're unified, those 5 sisters were unified in what they did. When they made a decision to make it happen together, nothing stopped them from going after what they knew belonged to them. They were not going to let their inheritance be taken away because of gender. And sometimes we bow down to certain things around us because of who we allow people to see us as. But when they made up their minds and they decided together, we are sisters, each of them, their names had a meaning. I won't go into all of that. You got to read the book to get that information. But they took their case, come on, to the priest. They took their case to Moses, who Moses took it to the ultimate answer, the person that was going to give the last answer. So what I want each and every one of you to do is become so curious about this book, Sacred Sisters, that you leave this platform and go directly to Amazon.com, order your book, paperback, have them ship it out to you, get it, read it. You will learn something. You will not be able to just put it down. Remember, we are now best-selling authors. I'm going to pop that up here one more time. Best-selling authors in new release. We are together in unity, 9 women with one vision. And again, this is 9 women birthing one vision, and this is our book launch tonight. We are so grateful for you coming in, sitting in, and spending this time with us as we let you know about our book. Please go and visit our social media pages. Reverend Vera, she has her page. It's under Vera Wallakin. Dr. Lakeisha, what is your page under?
Which page?
Your Facebook page.
Oh, just find me under Lakeisha Matisse. You can find me, Lakeisha Matisse Enterprises.
Okay, and Dr. Leah, what's your page under?
Oops. My page is under Dr. Leah Vanterpool Global.
Okay. How about you, Dr. Joe?
My page is on Dr. Josephine Harris.
Dr. Josephine Harris.
Or Dr. Joe Harris.
Okay. And what about you, Pastor Sandra?
Just Sandra Hill.
Sandra Hill. Listen, the other women that wrote the book with us, they're not here tonight. But we're going to put everything in the chat so you could follow each and every one of us. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for allowing us to come and offer you this book. Go and get it and allow it to help you get insight into some women of the Bible. Notice I'm saying women of the Bible, not women in the Bible, that you may have never heard of before. And so we want to say Thank you so very much for being with us tonight. We appreciate you tuning in. God bless you. We love you. And we will see you next time on somebody else's show. God bless. Thank you, ladies. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.